bought a ticket, you're sitting in here, you can raise your hand. Can everyone please raise your hand? If you've been supporting John Paul II for more than a year, can you keep your hand up? You've been supporting for more than 3 years, keep your hand up. You've been supporting for more than 5 years, keep your hand up. 10 years, and then from the very beginning, 12 years. If y'all can keep your hand up right there. The 12 years, 12 years. Could we give a round of applause for everyone in this room? So the theme is hidden treasures, and Father Kyle used to always talk about St. Mary's at A&M because their campus ministry is massive. All right, there's Maggie's in the room. The campus ministry is huge. It's the largest in the country, and he would always talk about it and how much of a treasure it was. And I got to go there for a conference in June, and I walked into the new $35 million church, and I thought to myself, wow, wow, wow. And it echoed because of how large the building was. And I asked myself, wow, these people really love God. What would it take for my ministry to be like this? And I got to know the campus ministers there. I got to know a lot of campus ministers, but I talked to them specifically. And I asked them, to tell me about the culture. They talked about the weaknesses they have there too, because they're human as well. And what I got the sense of was that everyone there knew what was at stake. So this year, 2024, marks the 10th anniversary, I guess. A decade since the statistic about 80% of Catholics losing their faith by college came out in 2014. So St. Mary's knew what was at stake, and they wanted to make a big dent in that. What would it take for us to get there? The reason why I had you all raise your hands is because that's what it's going to take. It wasn't just so that your neighbor can see if you put on deodorant tonight, but it's because the legacy built over there at St. Mary's was built by people, by relationships, not only money. I know this is a fundraising event, and it might sound silly for me to say it's not only money, but truly, it's the relationships. And you think about it, what did God do to seal the deal with humanity? What did he do to destroy sin and death? Is he came and he dwelt among us. He became flesh, he died for our sins, and he rose. And he knew what was at stake, but he gave everything for relationships. For relationships with you, for me, for all of the college students, for everyone. And so I'm sharing this because I want to invite everyone in here to consider what will get us there is relationships. I know many supported John Paul II because of Father Kyle, but I want to give an opportunity. I'm going to have some testimonies with some of the students for you to have a little bit of relationship, to see what's going on. And I also invite everyone to come talk to us afterwards. Any of the speakers, putting them on the spot. But also Veronica and Catherine, the other campus missionaries here, please, if you don't know us, please come talk to us. The reason why I have the testimonies before any of the numbers or accomplishments is because the testimonies of the students is the accomplishment. Okay? It's a lot more important than any of the numbers. I'll share those later. But yes, please come talk to us. I want a relationship with you so that you can know where our heart is for campus ministry. So let me just briefly tell you where my heart is for campus ministry. John Paul II is the instrument, the hidden treasure that God used to bring me into a relationship with Jesus Christ and his church. And I've seen St. Mary's, I've seen lots of other very vibrant communities, and I know that we are on track to transforming this hidden treasure into an overflowing treasure. And I thought to myself when I was at that conference, what would it take for any student who goes to Denton for us to be so successful that they won't be able to, spend very much time without noticing us and saying, wow, what's that over there? I want to go check that out. And then for them to walk over and to say, wow, these people really love God. So I'm going to hand it over to Dominic Drews, and he'll share testimony, and then we'll come back. Thank you.
Hello, like Sam said, my name is Dominic Drews, and I'm going to be sharing a little bit about kind of how JP2 has helped me and what it means to me. So, a little bit about me. First of all, I'm a cradle Catholic, and I've been living in the Denton area for most of my life. My family moved here when I was about 4, and Immaculate Conception has been my home parish ever since. even though I was an example Catholic from the outside, inside was a bit different. You know, I went to Mass every Sunday and faith formation classes from elementary school through confirmation. But I was one of the kids who knew most of the questions and knew most of the answers, but I was really only there to make my parents happy. I didn't really want to be there like most people. And don't get me wrong, I really did love God and I loved my faith, but I never really had a relationship with it. And eventually life happened, and about a year ago I kind of hit rock bottom, and my eyes were opened and it made me realize how far from God that I had gotten, and I decided I wanted to start to rebuild my life with God at the center. And that's when I started going to JP2. So I still remember the first event that I ever went to was a game night at the city. And you know, I started out as the shy, quiet kid in the corner that was like terrified of meeting people or talking to anyone. But thankfully I didn't have to make the first move because there were a lot of people there who noticed me and invited me to play games with them and hang out with them and get to know me. And then after that, there was the lake day where I got to meet even more people and play more games. And then by the time it was the third event that I went to, which was a backyard barbecue with volleyball, by the end, you know, when I left, people were saying, you know, bye Dominic, see you later. And that's kind of when it hit me, like, Dominic, that's my name. Like, people were saying my name. These people that I had either just met or had only known for like a couple days, like, cared enough about me to learn my name. And it may not seem like very much, but to me, that was really huge. And that kind of made me feel like I had a place where I might finally belong. Since then, I've had so many new friends and so many new opportunities, and people have helped guide me and helped me grow in so many different ways. In my first semester at JP2, I joined 3 different Bible studies, and that helped me finally start to learn some more about my faith that I didn't know. And then later, I ended up starting discipleship with Sam, and that's when I was able to dive even deeper and learn more about myself. I started going to daily Mass more often when I could, and I even started going to confession. You see, before I started coming to JP2, I didn't even know that you aren't supposed to receive the Eucharist in a state of sin, and I never went to confession, so I just hated it. And so a year ago, I could probably count the times that I've been to confession in my entire life on one hand. And now I go about once a week because of how much I sin. And now I've started taking on more leadership positions. Sam has, you know, brought me more into JP2, and so I'm now a member of the Student Leadership Council there. I also lead middle schoolers and high schoolers at Immaculate Conception. And thanks to my time here, I've started to learn and get a better idea of what a leader actually is. Because I always thought that it would take a long time before I could ever be a leader, because I thought that leaders had to be perfect and know everything. But now I realize that leading is less about leading and more about inviting others to walk with you on your journey. And in the end, I can say that I've gained so much from JP2, and I still have so much to gain from JP2. Thank you.
Thank you, Dominic. And now I'd like to invite a student from Texas Women's up. She's also part of the Student Leadership Council. Her name is Magali Castillo. We call her Jolly Magali.
Hi, as Sam said, I'm Jolly Macaulay. So my name is Macaulay Castillo. Like Sam said, I go to Texas Women's University. So I'm actually about to enter into my 3rd year. So I'm going to be a junior psychology major there. So I just want to give a little bit of my testimony about JP2 and what it's done for me. So So just like Dom, cradle Catholic, so I was born Catholic, raised Catholic and everything. And then when it came time for me to come to college, people asked me like, oh, what was one of the main factors that played into your choice in a college? Well, my actually number one thing was looking for a Catholic community. And so my brother, he was an Aggie, class of 24, and so he goes to St. Mary's, obviously, and I got to join them. They invited me for a couple of nights, like for high school nights and stuff, and so I just knew that that's something that I just wanted and I really desired. And so Texas Women's just really struck out to me, and then when I found out about John Paul II and like the community that has for college students, it was just amazing, and it like just blew me away, and I was like, wow, this is really meant to be, and like God really placed this in my life at the perfect time, and he really wanted me to see it. And so I came to college, and then I remember the first time, just like Dawn coming to JP2, it was actually the day that I moved in. And so the day that we moved in, they had a week of activities for the students. So Madeline Webenmeyer, if any of y'all know her, she picked me up, and I was like bawling, crying, because my family lives 3.5 hours away. And when I came to college, I had no car and I had no transportation, so it was just really hard making that move for my family. But that day was super bittersweet, because even though I was really, really sad to leave my family, I was super excited to go to JP2, but also super nervous, because I was like, I don't know what these people are going to think of me. And so Madeline picked me up, and then we got to the church, and it was a game night, just like Dom. And I remember like walking in, the guys who had like the Xbox connected to the screen, they were like, yeah! And I was like, oh my gosh, I was just like so taken aback. But I met so many of like the wonderful people there, and then from then the rest is kind of just history. We've been able to build relationships, like Sam was saying, the importance of having relationship and community. It really is that bridge. So when I first got here, I was already a practicing Catholic, and I really just wanted to dive deeper into my faith, but I kind of didn't really know how much I had missed out on experiencing. So there was so much that I had already experienced, but there was so much still left to experience. So at John Paul II, I was able to attend my first Bible study, because believe it or not, I had never been to a Bible study before. So Victoria Coronado, who was actually at the front helping with the tickets, she led the very first Bible study that I had ever been in. It was really amazing, and then I met like so many of my friends through that. So then I was able to, just learn so much more about the faith, and then the story of salvation and everything. And then my second semester, Veronica Pyle, she led the second Bible study that I was in, and just since then, I've just been able to build and grow on my faith. So my first year was a lot of like trial and error of like, okay, it's frustrating that I haven't learned these things before, but just really exciting to kind of just embark on that adventure of like, I have so many tools and so much support here that the times that I did kind of almost feel like giving up, like, oh my gosh, this is so hard, like, I've never learned to pray with scripture before. I had that support and that community that I could just like turn to and lean on to, and they were just always willing to help, and I was like, oh my gosh, these people are so nice. And then everything was going really well, and then like my second year, I really kind of started to hit rock bottom, because everything was just not going the way I wanted to at school, and then my life kind of just took a turn, and I kind of, to me, like looking back, it kind of was just out of nowhere, but I think it was me turning away from these relationships that God had given me. It's almost like I was too scared, because I thought they were too pure and too good for me. And so I ended up building other friendships that weren't the best influences, and I kind of just stayed away from John Paul II. And then I think the day that I realized my life really was going really downhill is when it was a Wednesday night. Those are the nights that we have community night, and I wasn't at community night. And that was like the 6th community night in a row I missed that semester. And I was like, I miss John Paul II. And my heart was just like yearning for these people that I really, really loved, and I knew loved me. And so I was like, something has to change. And so I tried like to do it on my own, but just the way that in our lives we weren't meant to do things alone, and we're called to like, go to Christ and tell him about our issues and just trust him for him to be with us. It was the same thing with this community. I could not do this alone. I kept trying it and forcing it. It just wasn't working. So eventually I was able to come back to the community, and they just welcomed me with open arms. And that's when I knew that that was the place that I belonged, because these are people who truly loved me and truly cared about me. Even when I wasn't attending, they noticed the lack of my presence. They were checking up on me to see if things were okay or not. And these other so-called friends that I had only wanted to know about me when they wanted to make plans or when they wanted to go somewhere. So I started realizing like these people really do care about me. And so, like Sam was saying, this place really is, John Paul II really is like a hidden gem, because it's like, in the midst of all the chaos, I always have this place to go to And it's not really just a place, it's the people that when I walk into community night or when I walk into these events, I know all these people and they're just always so kind. So within this hidden gem of John Paul II, I was able to find my own little hidden gem, Catalina Coronado, my best friend and now roommate. She really was placed in my life when I really needed her the most, and God knew her that I was in a time of just trial and tribulation, and she was able to be there. Just everything that happened just related back to Christ and bring me back to the foot of the cross and reminding me, God is calling you to come back to Him. And she wasn't making it about oh, it'll be fine, or oh, you know what, just do this or just do that. She always is just bringing me back to God. And so that's one of the first biggest takeaways that I have from John Paul II is that every day, especially now that we live together, we're able to build each other up, hold each other accountable. Right now we're doing this 30-day prayer challenge with Sam, and we're able to check up on each other hey, have you been doing your prayers? Or at night when we do night prayer, she's it's time for night prayer. And so just being able to have her there to just hold me accountable has been just such a blessing. And the friendship that we share, it's so beautiful, and it honestly is the closest thing that I have experienced to what heaven is like, because we're always just giving into each other, and it's so amazing. And then another thing is with the Bible studies that I've been in, the one that Veronica led this last year was about the Mass, and I really was I'm just able to experience the Mass so beautifully now. And it's just so different when you learn the fact that every single piece of the Mass has its purpose, even down to the words and down to the actions. You just can't see the Mass the same. It's even if you try to not pay attention, you can't not pay attention, because it's just so beautiful and just amazing. And then the third thing overall is just seeing my prayer life really shift and change. Before it was okay, yeah, we'll pray before meals, or okay, yeah, pray before you go to bed. But now it's pray for gratitude, pray for forgiveness, pray for others, and just so many different forms of prayer that there are. My brain is still just wanting to explode of all these options that are out there. And so I'm really excited because my time at JP2, I'm halfway through with my 4 years. And there's so much left to come, so much that we have planned with the Student Leadership Council, and I'm so excited to just welcome all the students coming in, and then all the students that we already know, and everyone there. I'm just excited for the year to start back, because in the summer, a lot of our students go away, so I'm just really, really excited for this year and just this time of growth. And I just want to thank y'all again for just, blessing JP2 with your presence and the ways that you've helped, because you've indirectly impacted my life. Because through the blessings that I've received, it's thanks to every single one of you that are there to attend Mass, that are there to, give in the collection, or just helping the community grow. You're part of it too. So I just want to say thank you guys, and yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Magali. Hopefully you can see why we call her Jolly. So here are some numbers and some notable accomplishments. From fall 23 to spring 24, the total attendance for all the different events, not including Sunday Mass or people we encountered tabling, was 4,000. So there were a lot of interactions. Those are our weekly community nights, men's and women's nights, our retreats. There are 12 Bible studies every week during the fall and 10 during the spring. So a lot of interactions. So there's a good amount, there's an okay amount of students here, but there's a lot more that aren't here right now in the summer. So our average weekly community night, last spring in 23, was about 30 each week, and then this fall was about 45 each week, and then this past spring was 55. So we're growing. It's really great. The Bible study attendance for fall 2023 was about 460, or 30 attendees per week. Half of those were Dom, because he joined so many, but that's okay. And then in spring 24, there was about 550, so about 35 attendees a week. So if you can just imagine that many people in Bible studies every single week. So we're aiming to grow that a lot, but those are just some numbers. Some of the kind of qualitative accomplishments. The fact that we had 3 campus missionaries, so Josh over here and Veronica, we were the 3 campus missionaries this last year, and it allowed for a lot smoother transition of pastors, a lot greater outreach, just a ton of more manpower, so that was amazing. Compared to last year, it was me as the 1 full-time missionary and 5 interns, but yeah, we're growing. We got the 8 Student Leadership Council members. That's awesome. And the last couple are, I'm building a really great relationship with Victoria Ramon, who oversees campus ministry in the diocese. She's the one who paid for me to go to the Campus Ministers Conference in June, and she's paying for Veronica and Catherine to go to a Campus Ministers Conference in a couple of weeks in DC. So that's a beautiful one. And the last one, before I hand it over to Daniel O'Flaherty, is we're spending a lot of time building bridges, building connections with the youth ministries and the young adult ministries in the area, so that in Denton there can be a lot smoother transitions from high school to college, from college to young adult life. So I've been talking a lot to the other ministers in the area to try to make that really smooth so that we can all lift each other up. A rising tide raises all ships, you know. Magali said her brother, when he invited her to something at St. Mary's over there, that's what influenced her here. She's a blessing to our community. So that's really what it's all about raising everyone. So thank you so much for being here, and I'm going to hand it over to Daniel O'Flaherty.
Thank you, Sam. All right. Most of you may know me. My name is Daniel O'Flaherty. My wife is Jamie. I've got 10 amazing children, and the age range of 4 years old to 23. We started attending JP2 back at Goolsby Hall in 2014, but given my family size, sort of overwhelmed the place. So we would attend, during the off season. Once the chapel was built, we came to JP2 full time. I wanted to give you a brief glimpse into how JP2 has transformed my family, like many of the other families here. Before JP2, my definition of being Catholic was attending Mass on Sunday and saying family rosary each night. What I soon learned from JP2 was our involvement in all the ministries and interactions that we have with parishioners, the students, and now our friends help shape and define much of what we get out of our Catholic faith. JP2 has been an amazing engaging all of the senses God gives us. The smell of the incense wafting during the 11 a.m. Mass, the ears attuned to the singing of the beautiful choirs, the Latin and English hymns complemented by the organ, immersio in a Mass as the source and summit of our faith. And it really does help enkindle our faith. It inspires us to go out and answer for the joy that is within us. My wife and I have always noticed that many Catholics, including ourselves, would leave after Mass. And so we never really got an opportunity to make too many friends at our parishes. So we found a great love in offering snacks after Mass out of the back of our car, which then grew over time to now be us leading a group of volunteers that serve a brunch after the 11 a.m. Mass twice a month in the hall. And we regularly see about 85 people eating and visiting. It's beautiful. It's a great way for parents of the new students coming into the campuses, the families coming in, parishioners, and current students, all to have a great environment to be able to chat. And it's that great way to have an icebreaker when you don't know anyone in a parish, to have a meal together and have someone walk up and greet you. It's not just what's happened to me and my wife, it's my children. My son Patrick started getting actively involved in his faith when a friend asked him to be an altar server at their wedding. And so he served Mass daily for 2 weeks to learn everything that was needed to be an altar server. Served the Mass, and he hasn't stopped since, regularly attending and serving daily Mass. Even when it's hard to get up, he's like, let's go. My daughter Shannon got involved as a student at community night, and it inspired her to continue to grow in her faith and begin giving back, not just attending. So now she's an active sea servant, as well as involved in other ministries and activities at JP2. My daughter Kathleen, as a lot of people know, loves to give out children's bulletins and greet people as they come to Mass. Being involved in ministries and taking personal responsibility for things that need to be done or could be done yields incredible blessings, as many others here can attest to. The bittersweet part of being involved in JP2 is getting to know the students over several years and then seeing them graduate and leave Denton. It has been amazing to have friendships with the students, to get to know them, and to get to watch them in their faith journey. It's hard when they leave. It's something that we didn't realize that hit us so hard. But I would not give it up for anything, because they have become part of my family, and I love them dearly, as my entire family does. Our entire family has gained so much from being actively involved at JP2. And the friends we gained in our involvement at JP2 has enriched our lives, and our lives will never be the same. I ask you all to consider supporting the students and the JP2 family by getting involved in a ministry and involved in something that you will never regret being part of, and building a vibrant parish family. All this to say that being part of the community at JP2 makes us feel like we are home. We have been blessed beyond measure. We didn't realize just how much we were missing out on. We are so happy to be part of JP2 family and feel that every one of us is family. Not just brothers and sisters in Christ, but people I care about deeply and in all seriousness, willing to take a bullet for to protect as a guardian at JP2. Thank you all, and God bless.
Thank you, Daniel. And then now, last but certainly not least, Father Jose.
Yes, I am here just to wind up. You have been listening to our campus missionaries and representatives of our parish. I'm here to express our debts of gratitude to many, many people, many of you all. There is a beautiful verse engraved on the Second World War Memorial in Kohima War Cemetery in Northeast India. It is called the Kohima Epitaph. You may have heard. The words speak for themselves, put on the lips of the slain soldiers resting there, speaking to the visitors and us. The verse says, "When you go home, tell them of us and say, for you tomorrow we gave our today. When you go home, tell them of us and say, for you tomorrow we gave our today." And we realize fully well and acknowledge that many did sacrifice their yesterdays and do sacrifice their todays for us. And I understand that so many of you who are here today have been a significant part of that many. On July 1st, our parish completed 12 years of being officially a parish. And I completed also 1 year on July 1st, being part of the parish. We have gathered here with our hearts overflowing with gratitude to God, to our parish family, to the extended parish family. We appreciate the valuable help of our parish staff, and today for organizing this event led by Mr. Trey Ali. our Knights of Columbus, the CDA ladies. You will see plenty of desserts and cakes made with love, especially written there. Thank you, great ladies. Our Altar Society ladies, our Altar Service, some of them are here. And the many volunteers who have been helping and supporting with everything going on in the parish. Saint John Paul II, the patron of our parish, instructs us. Let us remember the past with gratitude, live the present with enthusiasm, and look forward to the future with confidence. As St. Paul proclaims, I planted, Apollos watered, but God caused the growth. And we are confident to acknowledge with the psalmist, unless the Lord builds a house, they labor in vain to build. We have many reasons to be grateful as a community in the past year, ever since we met last year for the dinner and dance, for the growth the Lord has given us. We have grown in numbers. 500 to 600 faithful attend the weekend masses, the 4 weekend masses, and 30 to 60 people attend the daily mass. Some of the exciting changes we see in liturgical life are Monday Mass being added to the daily Mass schedule, 8 new younger altar surveys and 2 college-aged altar surveys were trained and initiated. That was something new. 8 younger altar surveys. Some of them are here. So good to see them in the sanctuary like angels. So we thank you and thank God and thank you for the parents. 23 people, including several college students, made the RCIA journey to receive the sacraments of initiation during the Easter Vigil. And we had a Denton Parish retreat for 3 days, held in the first weekend of March this year. 2 retreats were organized for the teens. We continue to organize vocation discernment sessions, Encountering Christ, every month for college students and teens. And our vocation team sent Christmas care packages to all the seminarians last year. This year they are organizing priest appreciation cards. Now regarding the parish projects, the parking lot project is in the site plan phase with the engineers. We are waiting for the approval of the plan by the city. You know the long line of hurdles set by the city of Denton. The old house in the main plot where the parking lot will be made will be moved within next 2 weeks. Sincere thanks to all those who have been contributing to the project regularly. We are taking a special collection for the parking lot project on this first weekend of every month. So we do have a fund to start with, and we don't have a bid from the contractors yet. A new church sign was installed in front of the church. It will now help the visitors identify our church easily. People passing by used to ask, is it a Catholic church? Now they know it is a Catholic church. When the students and parents come around, they will find, and that is a welcome addition. So you will find more pictures and news about all these in the new edition of the newsletter. Regarding the campus ministry, you've already heard a lot in testimonies and from Sam. And we know the campus ministry is the main ministry of our parish. And we take to heart that we are here to help the college students. We are planning on inviting all college students to the Sunday 5:30 p.m. Mass, and which will possibly be led by them. That is the plan we have. Many ask me and others also, how many college students come for Sunday Mass? We are not in a position to answer them because they come for different masses. So if they can join us for Sunday 5:30 p.m. Mass and various other things can be worked out, some events and all that. We appreciate the fresh enthusiasm of our missionaries in planning and equipping themselves for the fall semester. The missionary team attended a training program in Milwaukee in June, and as you heard, 2 of them will be traveling to Washington DC for another conference. This summer has been a transition time with the moving of Dax Bellington and Sam assuming the full leadership as a head campus missionary. Catherine has joined as a new missionary in place of Joshua. The Student Leadership Council has been formed to help the missionaries. This year, for the campus missionaries, we also received a grant from the diocese. $21,600 from the Advancement Foundation, part of the annual diocesan appeal. The renovation of the old campus ministry center will be done in the coming weeks. It will have a fresh and new look, and the missionaries' offices also will be moved there, so they have all for the campus ministry. We offer sincere gratitude to all the generous volunteers who have been sponsoring and serving dinner for college students every week during community nights. We are also going through a time of transition in the parish in general, in the staff. Miss Julie Garrison, she is still with the front desk. You know, Julie has been part of the parish staff for 12 years.
Yes.
12 years as a parish, 12 years Julie has been with us as business manager, bookkeeper, as well as assuming various other roles. Julie, we appreciate you and thank you. Okay, and then next Saturday we will have a going away party in the parish hall soon after the Saturday 5:30 p.m. Mass at 6:30. All are welcome. Yes, let's all be there, joining her, thanking God, thanking her. And it was very hard to replace her. She will be retiring by the end of this month, and it was very hard to find a replacement for her. So we have split her position. So 2 persons from our own parish community will be taking over her positions. One business manager, another one the bookkeeper. So the paperwork is moving. And then we have Miss Sylvia Lesko, who is just here. She has joined our parish as a new DRE, Director of Religious Education. We needed her, a person of her quality and experience. She has been DRE in 2 parishes, St. Mark's and St. Mary's Gainesville, for 18 years. So she comes with that experience to help us organizing our religious education. So tomorrow after the 11:30 a.m. Mass at 12:15 afternoon, we have a meeting with all the parents of kids from K to 12, including the homeschooling families. It will be a meet and greet session, sorry, and as well as to discuss the plans. And we expect all the parents to be there. And brothers and sisters, friends, we request your continued and generous support for our parish, especially for our campus ministry program and the parking lot project. We remain sincerely grateful to you all and praying with the psalmist as we look forward to the future with confidence. May the favor of the Lord our God be ours. Give success to the work of our hands. Give success to the work of our hands. Thank you, Lord.